Okay, the video cut me off there in part one. So just to finish off this problem is that the area under the curve between -2 and 2 was 0 because everything canceled out there. And 4 times 1 is 4, and so my total is 4. Okay, on this next part, I didn't realize the video cut me off, so I'm just going to walk you through it. The main thing to know is that pay attention that these are both talking about the f of x and these two are talking about the g of x so that you can translate these. So what this means is that you're doing -3 times what is -2 to 5 on the g of x, which is right here. They gave us that information, so I plugged in 8. -3 times 8 is -24. The second two are very similar to that, so I'll let you work that one out. And this one, the one trick to pay attention to is that notice that these are flipped. We should always do smallest to largest. And because of that, I need to put the negative out here so that I can put it from smallest to largest. So I put the negative out here. I did 12 times the g of x and 3 times the f of x and just plugged in the numbers to get -93. I feel like part D was the trickiest one. You're going to want to rewrite it into two integral pieces. I kind of like distributed that dx to kind of think of it like that. So this is going to be 1/2 -2 to 3. We have to do a little translation here to get there. I kind of drew a little chart here for you to think about it. For the f of x, that's these two pieces right here, okay? The information that they gave me from -2 to 5, the whole thing is 1. From 3 to 5, it's -5, which tells me that if I want from -2 to 3, that has to be 6, because 6 plus the -5 is going to give me 1 for the whole part. So you kind of got to think in reverse on that one. So that's how I plugged in 6 right here. Minus 4 times, now I'm going to do the same thing for the g graph. So I took the g graph from -2 to 5, that is 8. The whole thing is 8. And from 3 to 5 is -2. So if I want just from -2 to 3, that's going to be 10. 10 plus -2 is 8. So that's how I got this number. And then we just did the operations from there to get -37. All righty. What do we have left? Number 16 is very much the same kind of setup as this. It's just that we're looking at a table. So we are going to kind of distribute that again to two pieces. So -1 to 2, 2 times f of x d of x, minus -1 to 2 of 3 times f prime, double prime I should say, of f of x d of x. Okay. So if I'm looking for the integral of this, and I'm sorry, this should be an f prime there. It's like kind of hard to see. That's an f prime. So if I'm doing for the integral of this, what I'm looking for is 2 times f of x dx. If I do the integral of all this, minus 3 times, if I do the integral of this, that's going to take it back to f prime dx. And I'm going to evaluate this at -1. So I kind of did the integral of the whole thing here. Okay, so now I'm going to plug 2 and -1 in there to get my numbers. So I'm going to do 2 times, if I look at f of x at 2, that's going to be -3, minus 3 times f prime at 2 is 5. Okay, so that was me plugging in the 2 minus, now I'm going to plug in the -1, doing the same thing. 2 times f of -1 is 9 minus 3 times, oh, sorry, I'm running out of my screen there. I didn't notice that. 3 times f prime of -1 is -4. Okay, then it's just math from there. So this gives me -6 minus 15 and 18 plus 12. You can combine those up there. I got -51 in the end. -21, and this is going to be 30. -21 minus 30 is -51. Okay. 17 is a good practice, but we've already kind of done that one. 18, I said that you could skip. This one will be a bonus question if you would like to try it. Not required. I think I had one more I wanted to do with you. Turn to 20. This will be our last problem to do. So this is the one that it is very helpful if you plug into your calculator into y1 and y2, because you're going to use those functions over and over again. You're going to save some time if you type it in one time and don't have to type it over and over again. So I'm going to type my function into y1 and y2. 95, the square root of x. Oops. Sine x divided by 6 squared. Okay, this one is the amount of the water increasing. I'm going to skip this one, but this would be, you would find the derivative at 15. So subtracting these two values, because this is water in, this is water out. So we would subtract the values at those points. This ends up to be, it's actually decreasing. So if you want to try that one, you can. But I would like to do B with you. How many gallons of water are in the tank? So we're talking about how much total is in there. So if I want to find the total gallons at 18 is my goal here. I first need to see if there's any water in this before I start doing my adding and subtracting. I want to see if we have any starting amount. Well, let's read it. A water tank at Camp Newton's hold 1,200 gallons at time 0. So we do have water in the tank before. If they give me a starting amount, I got to take that into consideration. So at t at 0, we do have a start. So I'm going to add that to whatever we're trying to find. We're trying to find how many gallons basically are in there accumulated between 0 and 18. And I'm going to account for the water in minus the water out. That is the calculation we want to do in our calculator. So I know that this is going to start with 1,200 gallons that they gave us. That's my at 0 time. And then I'm going to put in the calculator 0 to 18, WT minus RT, and that's what I put into Y1 minus Y2. This is what I'm going to put in my calculator. Okay, so 1,200, can you see that on the screen? Let's see. Plus, remember, if I want to do an integral, I'm going to do math 9, F int, and from 0 to 18, and I put the WT function into Y1, so to get that, you're going to go to vars, Y vars, that's number 1, Y1, minus vars, Y2, and dx. In respect to x. Let it crunch, and I got 13. It does say to the nearest whole number here, so I'm going to round to 13. Ooh, actually that 9 is going to round up to 10. 1310 gallons. Remember, this is the total gallons we just calculated. We took the starting value, we added how much came in, and then how much went out. So we were at 1310 gallons at time 18, so the 18th hour. Okay, last one that I'm going to do with you is this one. Finding the absolute minimum. Any of the absolutes is the one we're going to make the little table. We always want to test our endpoints, which they gave us are 0 and 18. And then to find this, what I want is I really want the slope of this formula. So I want to find where WT minus R of T equals 0. That's going to be my other candidate here. So to do that, I already have them both in my y equals. I want to set my window to be between 0 and 18, so I can only look at the values I want to see. Window 0 to 18. I don't know if my y values are going to be good. We're going to try graphing it and see if I need to change my y values. I probably will have to change them. Yeah, I can't see anything here. I need to see where they're intersecting in order to get some information here. So I'm going to go back to my window. I'm going to change my y also. Let's see. I'm going to do 0 to, let me try 50 first. See if that shows it a little bit better. I still can't see it. Instead of doing this, I'm going to try zoom fit and see if that works. Sometimes it goes straight to what I need. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to try changing my y value again. You kind of have to play with a little bit. This looks like it's getting a little bit better. Ooh, I can see an intersection and I can see an intersection. Okay, so I have 2 intersections on this one. So I'm going to go to second calc intersect. I'm going to scroll my X to get close to where I think the answer is, and then I'm going to hit enter 3 times. So one intersection that I got here was 6.495. They want you on the AP test to write this out. This is how you're finding these numbers, is you're finding it by saying that you're setting those equal to 0. And I happen to have 2 this time, so I'm going to go ahead and calculate the other one. Second calc intersect. Scroll. 1, 2, 3. So 12.975. Okay. So now what I'm trying to find here is we already know at 0 it was 1,200 gallons. That one we don't even have to do any math. For the rest of them, you're going to do 1,200 plus 0 to whatever the value is. This one is 6.495 of WT minus R of T. So same math we've been doing. You're going to calculate each one of these, okay? And I'm going to tell you the answer in the end. This one happens to be the lowest. It's 525.24. So this actually ends up being our minimum gallons. So you have to calculate the rest. I'm just shortcutting it here because my video is almost out of time again. But that is how you do the math for each one. You'll just change this number to get this and then see which one is the smallest. And this one will end up being the smallest. I got for this one 1697.44. And I got for this one 1309.788. If you want to check your values. So it ends up being the smallest. Okay, good luck. The rest of the solutions you can find posted on Canvas for the rest of the test review questions.